Good morning, good morning, good morning. And welcome to another installment of Dear Deja. You guys know the drill. As per usual, make sure you hit the thumbs up. You should be hitting the thumbs up right now. Don't wait till the end of the video. Hit the thumbs up right now. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification button so you can get all of the notifications when I drop my live at 5, Dear Deja, unpopular opinion videos, etc. Also, stick around because I want to hear your feedback after I give my commentary on this Dear Deja letter. So let's get started. I don't want to keep you guys waiting. Okay. Dear Deja, I'm an up-and-coming fashion designer. One of my friends is kind of what you call a social media influencer and loves my designs. That makes me so happy. Of course, I give her stuff all the time to wear because I want her to promote my brand. She showed up on a Friday night at 10:30 p.m. telling me she needs something to wear for 12 a.m. And as usual, I make it happen for her always. I noticed that when she wears designer outfits, she makes sure to credit the designer, but whenever it's my design, she acts like she mistakenly forgot to credit me. Recently, I allowed her to borrow a very exclusive design of mine because I needed it to get the attention of a particular crowd that she would be partying with one evening. And not only didn't she credit me with the designs, but she also altered them tremendously. I was pissed. I went to her home to confront her about it the following day, and she was more upset than me about me saying something about it. She proceeded to tell me that because she altered the design to make it look good on her, it was no longer my design. And more importantly, she began to not only discredit my artwork, but me as a person overall. She said that I was jealous of her and a hater and beneath her. And if that wasn't enough, she called her sister outside. We got into an altercation. They actually jumped me, and by the time I got my balance back and tried to get my fair one, they called the cops on me, said I was trespassing, and got me arrested. I am hurt. What do you think I should do? Sign, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my ish. Wow. Oh, child. What is what is this with these what is going on with these assault cases? Girl, ooh, child. Let me start there. Let me take a sip because that was a lie. First of all, let me say I'm sorry that happened to you, right? I'm sorry that happened to you because I don't know. I was under the impression from the initial start of the letter that you ladies were friends. So to hear all of this came about with what sounds like two women that were friends, I'm a little concerned. But I guess that was just my assumption. And I probably needed to get more information because you two couldn't have possibly been friends if it went this direction so quickly. Right? So like I said, let me just start off by saying I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm so sorry to hear that because that was a lot. What it sounds like is you was just trying to get your business off the ground. You saw an opportunity where somebody could help you do that. You ladies were helping each other and it went south. Let's backtrack a little bit because I would definitely be, if we were in the Operation Hill 100 Hearts one-on-one session, asking you questions about the relationship that you and a young lady shared, right? So would it be, I knew her from middle school, or we grew up together, or our families know each other, or I would have to ask the origin of your relationship because I would need to know if it was a relationship that required you to be supportive of her in the regard that you was, and vice versa, right? Because another thing too is it could have just been a business situation where she liked your designs, you knew she was popular, so as one hand washed the other, they both washed the face. And if that's the case and she decided to let the business go south, I think she could have just shared that and moved on. Right? It sounds almost as if a little bit she took advantage of the situation, with the whole, altering the designs, because that's another thing. I'm not a fashion designer. And if any fashion designers are here, drop down in the comments and let me know. When you design something for someone, are they allowed to alter it? Because I'm under the impression that you don't touch anyone else's designs. But what also sounded weird, and just downright wrong was that after she altered it, she basically was letting you know, like, oh, now it belongs to me. So it seems as though you got really, really taken advantage of. Really, really taken advantage of. And I'm sorry that happened to you. I'm sorry that happened to you. But as I always say with these Dear Deidre letters, I have to speak from the standpoint of how you're going to move forward and things that you could do better moving forward. I can't really speak too much about the other person because, number one, I have limited information. And, you don't always know if that information is true. I'm just going off of you sending the letter in. First off, like I said, we would scale all the way back and have some conversation about your relationship. So I would be saying, well, how do you know this young lady, right? How do you know her? Were y'all friends from the dirt? Were your parents friends? Did you meet her through a mutual friend? Did y'all go to school together? How often were you guys hanging out? Were you hanging out in the first place? Is she just maybe a relative of a friend? Like, I would have to ask the extent of your relationship. Because from what I know about fashion designers, they take their business very serious, so to know that you just, for lack of a better term, willy-nilly gave your fashions away to somebody, I would have to know the extent of your relationship. And if the extent of your relationship is, close and you felt that you could trust her and so on and so forth, how did we get here? Right? How did we get here? Because if you could trust her, then that would make me feel like to some degree you know the young lady. And if you know her and you guys have a relationship and a rapport where you feel you can trust her enough to actually lend her something that's very precious and valuable to you. Once again, as I know about folks who are in the fashion industry, they take their designs very serious. So to give her something that precious and valuable to you and not be able to foresee that she was the type of person that would do something like this, I would have to question some of your skills, right? Because granted, no one is a psychic, no one can see the future. But I think most times in life, people encounter situations that truly, truly throw them off their rocker because they didn't pay attention to the signs that would suggest they could encounter a situation as such. I'll give you an example, right? Me personally, I don't particularly date men that I've witnessed disrespect women, and definitely not women in their family, right? So let's just say if I'm talking to a guy and we just started dating or something, and after a couple of dates, he lets me know, hey, me and my sister, we got into a little situation, or me and my cousin, or whatever the case may be. And when he shares what takes place, he lets me know he basically cursed the woman out and, just verbally was very, very disrespectful. If I hear about it or if I see it, that for me is a red flag, right? That for me is a red flag. It kind of puts me in a space to anticipate that you would disrespect any woman, me being one of them. Right, so if in the future I decide to continue with that guy and then we run into an issue and then he spit that same mouth out on me that he did on his sister or his cousin, for me to stand up there and be like, I'm so shocked and appalled, that would be like, are you? Because he has had some of those behaviors show up in the past, maybe not on you, but on another woman. So is it really shocking and appalling to think that he wouldn't do that? Maybe you wouldn't like them to do it, but is it shocking and appalling to think that he would? So I don't know if I landed that plane clearly, but that's the point I'm making. Is like, if you did know this young lady well enough, were there no signs there that you could pick up on that she would, pull a stunt like this? Another thing I'm going to say is I can give you a sign that would kind of have me looking weary at the young lady if I was you from the beginning. In the beginning of your letter, you said that, whenever she wore things by other fashion designers, she would credit them. So I'm guessing if it's on social media, that means she's tagging them or so on and so forth, right? But she would just mistakenly forget to credit you every time she wore some of your designs. Yeah, that would have been a red flag for me. That would have been a red flag for me. Once it happened more than once, because in all fairness to folks who are, very popular and out in the public, they do have a lot going on, especially when they're out and about doing their own thing, right? So I get that. I get all of that. So I would definitely give her grace for one time. But once it happened the second time, you would no longer be allowed to use my fashions unless there was some form of compensation for me allowing you to do so. Because I don't think that it's fair for me to be giving you something and you to be receiving it and us to be having an exchange, and I never get my end of the bargain on what the exchange is. And what you said in the beginning was that the reason why you were lending her the designs is because she's popular and she can promote them, and that works for you. And the reason why she wanted the designs is because, from what it sounds like, you're a good designer. So if I'm giving you the designs, that's me doing my part. Where was your part in return? And once you assess that there was no return, then you should have stopped that relationship, because now we're not doing business. And if we're not doing business, then I don't need to be giving you my product, right? So for me, that would have been a flag for me before we even got to the whole you altering my designs, you cursing me out. No, once you keep mistakenly forgetting to tag me, but making sure and making it your business to do it for others, I mean, I don't know if I'm necessarily going to say I'm only taking it personal, but I would be also offended, and I would have to understand that this situation is not working. So my products would have got pulled back without any compensation, without you paying for them, unless that would be the only time that you would be able to get a hold of my products again, but not me just giving them to you off the strength. Another question that I would have to ask, about this situation is, did you guys have any dialogue about what the agreement was, or was this just an assumption? Because in all fairness, me personally, I think just being the type of person I am, I would have tagged you anyway, right? So I would have did that regardless of you telling me, because I want to credit the person that made me look good. So that's just me. But let's just say a person is not like that, right? So they like, listen, well, that's not my first thoughts to credit the people who gave me the things that I wore. I'm just thinking about my whole night, right? If she's that type of person, that I describe person B, then if she didn't tag you and then there was no exchange or no dialogue regarding that's what you wanted, then I don't understand how you thought this was going to play out, right? Now, if you just assumed that she was going to do so, why not, after she didn't the first time, make it clear that that's what you needed and why? Because another thing is, sometimes people don't want to do stuff like that. And I think if you made it clear to her, she can say, hey, I don't think that's a good idea for me to tag you. And then you can say, okay, hey, I understand. Please give me back my product so I can give it to someone who will, right? But to assume if that's what happened, she would just be an innately good person and do what you think is right. We can't always do that, even if that's something we would do. Right? So I don't want to try to discourage you from thinking people are good in the world and so on and so forth. But that's the reality of the situation. I was just having this conversation the other day. Some people are innately good people and some people are innately fucked up people, right? You got to be able to distinguish between the two. Okay? All right. So that's one part of it. Let's get on to the part where you went over to confront her about the designs and you got the feedback you got, and then it escalated. What did that confrontation look like? What did that confrontation look like? And I'm only asking because everything to a hammer looks like a nail. So if you're coming over on some rah, 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 sis, boom, bah stuff, you can't expect me to be humble and coy and sweet and compassionate and understanding when your energy that you're approaching me with is nothing close to sweet, compassionate, coy, and understanding, right? So am I saying that if you did go over there aggressively, you would have been wrong? Not at all. Not at all. I'm not saying that because, again, you're entitled to your feelings. But if you did go over there with that aggression and aggression was met with aggression, you can't really be too mad about that. You can't really be too mad about that. What it also sounds like is you were taken aback at some of the things that took place when you were there, right? Because also you said you guys got into an argument and it became a back and forth and some name calling came up. So once again, I have to go back to my main question. What is the relationship between you and this young lady? Because she started saying things like, oh, you're jealous of her and, and where did all of this come from? Where did all of this come from? So is there a deeper relationship than you let on in the letter? If not, and we are just meeting, I'm not just meeting, but we're just getting to know each other and hanging around each other, what transpired prior to y'all exchanging a product that would make her feel that you were jealous? Like, not saying you were. So I would have to ask, like, did you guys have an altercation prior to that? Was there like a back and forth one time? Did a situation take place where she felt like you was being shady or something prior to this exchange of products? Because her saying that you were jealous of her, I don't really understand where that came from. If I'm coming over to confront you about, altering my product that I lent you, and you get upset about it and start saying I'm jealous of you, when did I become jealous? But you know what? Ding, 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 ding. I just answered my own question in my head as I'm reading this back to you, right? But as I'm saying it back to you, I saw that she said, she fixed the garment to fit her. So what it also might sound like is she might maybe feel like the garments that you were giving her weren't complimentary of her. So now she went in and made the garment complimentary of her because you was doing that because you was on some head shit. Again, the way I just pieced that together, I know that sounds absolutely crazy, right? I know that sounds absolutely crazy for an adult to have that level of thinking. But I'm here to tell you guys, I've heard so many things in my Healing Heart sessions, and I've encountered so many people with weird ways of thinking that nothing is far-fetched. So although, right, you gave her the product. And also my other thing is too that I would have to be asking, did you make the garment for her? Or was it a product that you made and she liked it and wanted to wear it? Right? Because it's another thing if it's like, were you saying like, oh girl, I see how you like the dress and I made this garment that I think will look perfect on you. And then she was coming to pick up the garments? Or was it, oh girl, I see you got this garment up here and this is my style, so I want this one. Because if you were actually making the garment for her, in your opinion, then I could see where she felt like you was hating comment came from. Do I think it's a correct thought to have? No, I personally don't, but I know that people can have some weird thoughts. And for her to say you were hating, I'm a little confused, because if I'm giving you my product, how am I hating on you? So I think you should have gotten to the nitty-gritty of that. But could you do that if you approached, and I'm asking, if you approached this situation with aggression? So if you came into it with aggression, was that back met with aggression? All right, so now y'all here. Let's just say you came upset, she matched your energy, and y'all going back and forth with the name calling and all of that. What was said to make it escalate for her to call a sister now? And what also happened between you and the sister to make it escalate to get physical? Because that's a lot. That's a lot right there. That is a lot. It's a lot for us to have a rapport and to be supposedly doing something for each other to now you and your sister jumping me. So I would have to be asking, like, what upset her to that degree? What do you feel took place that upset her to that degree? But even her aside, right? Once again, let's go back to some of your behaviors. I think that, you're an artist and you're sensitive about your ish. So once you saw that she altered the garment, that took you to another place. I think you were already at that other place when she continued to forget to tag you. But I think it made it escalate even more, because it's like, and now you're altering my garment. So you're making it look different than what my intention was for the garment. And on top of that, you're not letting folks know it's me that made the actual garment. So I could see you being like fed up and wanting to confront her. But what is another way that you probably could have handled that to kind of, make the situation go a little differently? Are you used to confronting things head on like that? And Are you used to things escalating in this manner? Are you shocked? Is this something that you never thought would happen? Do you know the sister? Do y'all have any relationship? Like, what I would need to know a little bit more about that. Also, hold on one sec, you guys. I'm sorry, I gotta tell Pookie turn his TV down. Come on. Yes. So did you know the sister? When the sister came down, did you meet her with aggression? Did the sister come down aggressive? Was there a time that you could have de-escalated? You understand what I'm saying? And if nothing else, right, let's scale all the way back to you and the person that you are. What this sounds like is this was supposed to be a business transaction. This was supposed to be a business transaction. When it comes to business, there are rules. Why do you think people have contracts? Why do you think people have contracts? Because when it comes to business, there are rules. The reason why people have contracts is because when the rules are in writing, you can't get them misconstrued. I can't get them misconstrued because here they are in black and white. From what you did, I definitely understand because I've done it in my business before too. I've said to a person who I know is popular on one Heal and Heart session, hey, you can get the session for free if you promote that you came and actually got the session and how it worked for you, right? So I get all of that. But I think that there has to be a clear-cut understanding from the gate about what exchange we're having, because once the exchange becomes one-sided, then we can't do business anymore. And I think you were a little apprehensive to communicate that with her, so you allowed her to kind of take advantage for a little while, and then you reached your boiling point and you stormed over there ready to kill her and every motherfucking body in there, which is why she calls her sister down and then they called the cops. Because I can't imagine if you were there like, hey, that wasn't nice. Why would you do that to me? It would be, tell my sister come down here and F you up, and now we calling the cops to get you arrested. I think what happened was you were so flustered because time and time again you had asked her about the tagging you, and you felt like she was not tagging you intentionally, so that kind of had you off her, but you still want to do business with her because you still wanted to benefit from it at some point. And when you saw that she took away your ability to benefit from it by altering the garment and still not tagging folks and letting them know you were the originator of it, that sent you over the edge, right? And in all fairness to you, I could see how that could happen. Because that would make me feel like you're playing in my motherfucking face. You are playing in my motherfucking face, and I would not tolerate my face being played in. So I think you went over there with a tad bit of aggression. And I think that is why the conversation escalated the way that it did. And I think that's why the whole situation escalated the way that it did. At the end of the day, from the way you're describing things, I could see where your aggression came from because you were done wrong from the beginning. Right? So your aggression was totally warranted because, once again, you were done wrong from the beginning. My only thing is the reason why you were done wrong on your end is because you continued doing business with a person that you could see from the beginning was taking advantage of you. And I say that because the only request you had of her was for her to tag you or let folks know that you were the originator of the garment. And time again, from what your letter said, she failed to do so. And you continue to give her garments. You even said one time here, well, she would show up sometimes at 10:30 at night and need something for 12. And, I would just make it happen for her. Yes, I said this in another one of my dear DJs. I don't know if you guys remember. What is allowed is what will continue. Let me say that one more time and get closer to the mic. What is allowed is what will continue. Right? So when you give folks an inch, I'll take it a step further. I say this at work, and I said this to y'all on another dear DJ. I'm just reiterating things you guys already know from watching my videos. If you give a finger, they're going to want a hand. If you give a hand, they're going to want an arm. If you give an arm, they're going to want a body. If you give a body, they're going to want a heart. If you give a heart, they're going to want a soul. You know what I'm saying? What is allowed is what will continue. So once she saw that I could act like I forgot to tag you and still come back this day and get the garment again, then I'm going to continue to act like I forgot to tag you, right? If I can show up here last minute and be able to get whatever I need to do what I need to do without having to do anything for this young lady at all, oh, yes, I'm going to do so, you know? Again, does it make it right? Not at all. Not at all. And I don't want you to feel like in giving this feedback, I'm trying to say, well, you did wrong. And no, you were done wrong. You were definitely done wrong. But I think that you were done wrong because you didn't nip it in the bud from the beginning. And I know that a lot of people, you know, have issues with being able to confront things head on and put a stop to things. But I also feel like in the back of my mind a little bit, you didn't put a stop to it because of eventually you thought you would benefit from it. You thought that eventually she would do the right thing and you would get what you need. Just let me wait around and be patient. That's not her fault. That's what you decided. It just did not work out the way you anticipated. And when it didn't... And when it did not, and you saw that she was playing in your motherfucking face, it went up from there. All the way up. To the point that, like you said, they got you arrested. So it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that it went there. It's unfortunate that she took advantage. It's unfortunate that when trying to do business with folks, they will go this route knowing that it costs you nothing to tag me in a picture. It's not like I would have also understood if she was a fashion designer. So it's like, well, I didn't tag you because I want them to think I made it. Like, sweetie, what? It costs you nothing to tag me. What's the issue? And I'm going to say this in your defense. Was she the hater? Are you the hater? Because did you not want people to come and patronize my business? So you hated on me and left me out of it? Like, that wasn't cool. But you know, that's an Operation Hill 100 Heart session for her. For you, you need to come and get yours. You need to come and get yours because your feelings is top tier hurt. Your feelings is top tier hurt because you feel like they took advantage of you and then in the end they played you when they are the ones who did everything wrong. And I could understand how you feel that way. My only thing was, what was allowed is what was continued. And what was allowed is what continued. And you were the person doing the allowing. Right? So you have some part in that as well. And that is why I cannot wait to see you for your Operation Hill 100 Heart session, because one-on-one session, because we want to make sure that this doesn't happen again, especially surrounding your business. Especially surrounding your business, because now you're losing out on a whole bunch of money, or you're now investing money in lawyer fees to kind of get this situation put behind you, when you could be using that same money and reinvesting it into the business and building a business up. So in your healing heart session, I would want to try to figure out where that comes from. That whole allowing things to continue that you're not happy with. You know, is that a childhood trauma? Is that an adult trauma? Like, we need to figure that out. We need to, you know, compartmentalize that, and we need to work through that so you can never allow that to happen again. You know, you don't want your business going down because of some of your own personal ish. Right, so I'm excited. Like I told you guys last week, Operation Hill 100 Hearts one-on-one sessions are going to happen because y'all going to write in y'all letters, but this is limited information with the letters, which is why I can only give limited feedback. And from what we all know, we all need more. Right? So when you come in for your Operation Hill 100 Heart session, you can give me the background story and I can give you the right feedback for everything that you've given me. Fair exchange ain't never been no robbery. I know how to do good business. Ask about me. So in any event, here we are. So y'all know the spiel. You should have hit the thumbs up button 28, almost 29 minutes ago. If you're new to my channel, please hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you can know when I come with Dear Deejas live at 5, my unpopular opinion, etc., so on and so forth. And also, right now, because I have concluded my commentary about this Dear Deeja, you should be leaving your feedback in the comments about if you agree with me, you disagree with me, what I should have said, what I shouldn't have said. Oh, girl, you was wrong. Oh, no, she was right. Let me know. We all want to hear the feedback. We all want to get the the parts of the story out so we can kind of sift through it and see what's best for this individual. I'm here to tell you guys, as a matter of fact, I did a Healing Heart session today with one of my dear DJ letter writers, and what she shared with me was that the feedback in the comments really helped her to A, move forward with the one-on-one session, and B, make some better choices because what was shared with her. Thank you. Like I always tell you guys, thank you for your support. I love you guys, and I see you soon.